All right. Good morning. Happy Salah. Have you have you called your people to wish them happy Salah? Did you call your people to wish them happy Salah? You don't want to wish them happy Salah. All right. So before we begin, there won't be class tomorrow. We're taking a break tomorrow. All right. So we'll continue on Friday. Um, Today we're looking at speaking test. This is the last module for you, right? You've taken others. Remaining speaking. All right, so the speaking test is the aspect of the IELTS test that assesses your ability to communicate. So they want to put you to test to see if you can speak English. They want to be sure that you can communicate in good English. So you don't mix your native language in the English. Like a tribe in Nigeria called the Yoruba, if you hear when they mix Yoruba and English, it's so sweet. I'm a warrior. So all of that. IELTS examiners would like to see how you are able to converse. Now, the speaking test usually lasts for 10 to 15 minutes only. All right? So within these 10 to 15 minutes, you are likely going to score between 5.0 to 8.5 or 9.0. Right? Now, the speaking test has a couple of things you should hold on to. One of such things would be very basic. Don't trade your confidence for anything. You must go for your speaking test with your confidence 101%. Right? So you need to show it. It has to show through your body carriage, through your spoken English, through your voice texture. You can manage your tension by smiling when in your mind is hitting very hard and you just smile. That can be managed. But you can never manage your voice when you are tensed. Your voice will show. The voice texture will show. So you need to be prepared for that. So that when you're going for speaking tests, you are ready psychologically and otherwise. The speaking test is that aspect of the IELTS test that you can easily score the highest in your IELTS test. Speaking test. You can easily score the highest, right? So please don't joke with it in a way. So let's also understand that there are things you are required to work with, which we call speaking test rules. Speaking rules. Now, before the rules, you should understand that your speaking test can be virtually arranged. That means it is possible that the person that will examine you might not be in the country. The person might be conducting the test from a different environment. So all you need is the test center would organize the internet access and the gadget or device. So they would give you your headphone or headset with microphone, and you go there, you see the person live on the screen, right? It might also be physically arranged, meaning you would go in and meet someone seated and waiting for you, right? So whichever it is, the basic thing is have your confidence intact. Now, in Africa, for instance, the nurturing is that you are not to look at an older person in the eyes when you're speaking to the person, right? It is considered to be disrespectful, right? But this is opposite of what is practiced in IELTS. Because the Western world believes that through your eyes, they can read if you are tensed, if you're telling lies, if you mean what you're saying, if you're confident and otherwise. through your eyes. So they expect you to keep eye contact with them when you're speaking. And then Africa is saying don't keep eye contact. So how do you manage that? How to manage that? Nobody is compelling you to just fix your eyes at the person. And you're talking everything, you're just there. You're talking. No. You are free to look rightward, leftward, upward, but don't look downward. That's negative. So you can always look away, come back, look away, come back, look up, come back, not fixing your eyes. That would even make you tense in a way, right? So you need to understand that these are things that you should know. And when you are speaking, try as much as possible to deploy or make use of this guy here. This guy is called contraction. We know what contractions are, right? You know what contractions are? All right, look at this word. The contracted version is can't. Right? You are advised to make use of this guy more. As a more of contractions. So do not say, I will not be there. You should say, I won't be there. Don't say, I cannot come. I can't make it. Right? So do more of contractions. More of contractions. So let's take on the rules of speaking test. Rules of speaking test. Rule number 1, you might want to write. Rule number 1, during your speaking test, never give a short answer. Never give a short answer. So you are required to make longer expressions each time you are responding to any question. Give longer expressions. Rule number 2, keep speaking until the examiner asks you another question. Keep speaking until the examiner asks you another question. Rule number 3, ensure to speak audibly, always. Ensure to speak audibly, always. Next rule, always keep eye contact with the examiner. Always keep eye contact with the examiner. Next rule, never form an accent. Never form an accent. Don't start what you cannot finish. So just be natural. Next rule, feel free to make use of voice modulations if you can. Feel free to make use of voice modulations while speaking if you can. Feel free to make use of voice modulations while speaking if you can. Next rule, you are allowed to make use of natural fillers if necessary, but don't overuse them. You are allowed to make use of natural fillers while speaking if necessary, but don't overuse them. Next rule, The use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. The use of non-verbal communications, the use of non-verbal communications are allowed, but do not abuse them. Next rule, feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of a question or any question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of any question that's unclear to you. Feel free to request a repeat or a rephrasal of any question that's unclear to you. Next rule, do not speak sluggishly in order to buy time, and don't speak so fast. Do not speak sluggishly in order to buy time, and do not speak so fast. Do not speak so sluggishly in order to buy time, and don't speak so fast. Rather, maintain a stable speaking pace. Rather, maintain a stable speaking pace. Next rule, ensure to confirm that you understood the question before you begin to speak. Ensure to confirm that you've understood the question before you begin to speak. Okay, these are rules you should look at or consider when you are preparing for your speaking test. All of those rules. Now, let's look at those rules. Is there anyone you don't understand? Let me explain slightly. Which of the rules right there are you not so clear about? Are they all clear to you? Rule number 6. What does it say, please? Voice modulations. Okay. So let's understand what voice modulations are. Or you know what they are? The rising and falling of your tone. For instance, hi, good morning. Good morning. It's not accent. It's different from good morning, right? When I say come here, that sounds more commanding, right? If I say come here, that's a little friendly, right? So you are allowed or encouraged to use voice modulations if you can. Don't go and start making your neck because you want to raise your voice. So if you can, use it. But if you cannot, don't bother. Any other rule there? Rule number 8, what does it say? Okay. All right. Non-verbal communication means the use of facial gestures or expressions and body languages to pass message to the examiner. For instance, Um, what do you think about people traveling abroad? Um, well, I think it's not. It's a lot of people travel for different reasons. See, my body language is right. So when you travel, do you enjoy the trip? Sure. Facial gestures. So you are free to use them, but you're meant to speak. Oh, they want to hear you speak. Not. Did you travel? You nod your head. Did you enjoy it? You're not speaking if you keep doing all of that. Any other rule? All right. Let me ask. Please, can you explain to me how one of the rules there? How natural fillers are used during speaking test? Natural fillers. Yeah, natural fillers. We have this guy, and we have this guy, right? These are natural fillers. How do you pronounce this guy? M. This is letter M. Hmm? And this one? No, no, no. I want the pronunciation for this one, right? And this one is what? Mitzi, can you help us? How to pronounce this guy? The first one here. Um. Okay. All right. Now this is pronounced as and this is pronounced as right? Um um. So when do you use them? When you want to get the right word, right? Or when you want to remember the right thing to say, right? The right response to give. Perfect. That means they shouldn't come in when you are speaking normally, when you are supposed to be flowing, you know what to use. So they only come in when you want to remember something. So that's why the rule says do not abuse them or overuse them, right? Because by default, you are expected to be fluent when you are speaking. So if you begin to bring this guy in intermittently, what would happen? It's going to reduce your fluency and that would drop your performance. So you should use it only when necessary. Then some other persons might want to buy time. They want to buy time. They feel they don't have, they are introverts. I don't like. And they ask, and you are asked question, and you are busy. You are like, "Hmm, well, I think you're buying time. Examiners will write against you that you don't have good vocabularies to express yourself. You think you are buying time, you don't know you are shooting yourself in the foot. So you are advised when you have the need to take a little time, ask the examiner, please could you spare me a few seconds to think about this? They will give to you. Do you understand me? Could you please spare me a few seconds to think about this? They'll allow you. Right? Don't buy time on your own. It's a serious business you're there for. Right? If a question is unclear to you, you should tell the examiner, could you please rephrase the question in a simpler way? They will repeat the question in a simpler way. Instead of you to, out of tension, you start blowing background here and there. When the question is unclear to you, feel free. You're having conversation with the examiner. It's not a job interview. So you are there to interact with the examiner. So feel free. If you are so formal, you are too rigid, you are so uptight, you are making the speaking session difficult for yourself. But if you are friendly, jovial, examiner will be open to you. That's how it works. So you need to be very open, right? Now, having gotten all the rules of speaking test, please, okay, press the button. All right, thank you. All right, so let's move on. When you go for your speaking test or on the day of your speaking test, there are two things you should go with: your international passport and your pen or pencil. That's all. The international passport must be the passport you used at the point of registering for the exam. Okay? Then the pen will be used when you get to part 2. Right? So let's begin. The speaking test has 3 parts called part 1, which is the introductory session, part 2, which I call the main speaking test because it's done with a paper called cue card. Then the third part is what we call the follow-up or supporting question session, right? In your part 1, the examiner would ask you questions about yourself, about your environment, about your community, about your country. So you should know, have good information about yourself and your environment, right? Then part 2, of course, part 1 is more like questions and answers. So the examiner will keep asking you questions, you respond. The examiner keeps asking you, and you keep responding. So when they are satisfied with your responses, then they switch to the next part, right? Remember, any question you are asked, don't give a short answer. Make a good sentence to respond to every question. And another secret to have a nice speaking performance is when you are speaking on a particular question, if it is a response that you want to do a retrospect, that's going back to the past, how it's been done in the past, use past tenses. Examiners expect you to show that you can express yourself using past tenses. They want to see you express yourself using present tenses, and they want to see you project into the future using future tenses. Always factor these things when you are there for your speaking test. Then, part two does not play out like part 1, which is questions and answers session. No. Part 2, examiner does not talk to you much. The examiner just tells you, okay, so we have come to the end of part 1. We shall go straight into the second part. Here is your cue card. The examiner will hand in the A4 sheet. That A4 sheet contains the question you would speak on. Right? So when the examiner gives that to you, the examiner tells you, you have just about 60 seconds to make notes if you wish. So that pen or pencil you went with, this is now the time to use it. On your desk, there's going to be a piece of paper on your desk. So when you're given this cue card and with your pen, you make short notes on the piece of paper. Do not write story. You don't have that time. So you're making quick notes, and those quick notes are prompters, direct reminders of the response to each question on the cue card paper, right? So you just, for instance, if the cue card says who you visited, write the name of the person only. When did you visit the person? Write the date. Where does the person reside? Name of the town or location of the address. How did you feel? Overwhelmed, satisfied. However it is, just short prompters. Don't start writing stories, right? So within the 40 or 60 seconds that you're going to make that note, once the time elapses, examiner will tell you, all right, thank you so much, your time is up, so you may now begin. And that's the only thing examiner says to you for your second part. Examiner does not ask you any question. Every question you're going to you're supposed to be asked is written there. And the way to respond to the questions, you're going to be giving bullet points on what to say to respond to those questions. Right? So you are supposed to speak for about 2 minutes during part 2. 2 good minutes uninterrupted. Right? Then your part 3 is more like supporting or follow-up questions. It is also another question and answer session, just like in part 1, right? So that's the way your speaking would go on that day. So let's begin with preparations for the different parts. Okay, these are some of the areas that questions would come from. So let's begin. When you walk into the speaking test corner or room, examiner would introduce him or herself to you, make some confirmations about your data or information, and then asks you what your name is. Remember, examiner would introduce himself or herself to you. And the reason for that introduction is so you can address the examiner by the name. Please don't forget. So when the examiner introduces him or herself to you and then asks you, what's your name? There are about 4 different ways you can respond to the question, what's your name? Right. Here are 4 different ways you can respond to the question, what's your name? If you look at this question, it's contracted. What is? What's? So if you look at the different 4 templates, there are some that are contracted as well. You are strongly advised to express yourself using the contracted versions. Right? But if you cannot, then any other approach you want to use is okay. So let's assume examiner asks you, good morning, my name is Benedict. Okay, what's your name? So you can say, my name is, you say your full name, the way it's written on your international passport. But you are not compelled to follow it chronologically, the way it's arranged, because you might forget which one is first, which one is second. You might forget. But you can begin from anyone, whether the middle name, last name, first name, as long as you mention your name is okay. So what's your name? My name is, you say your name. If your name is not an English name, then say the name slowly. Oluwadarasimi Jesu. Those long names, say them slowly, right? But if your name is English, for instance, George or Michael Schofield or some brown idiot, you know, some of those funny names, right? They are just straightforward, right? So you can simply say, my name is, you say your full name, or you say, my name's, the second one, contracted. My name is Benedict, aka. My name's Benedict, aka. Right? Some people would think my name's, it means names in plural. Then they will say are. My names are. That's bad English. There's no such thing as my names are. So you're saying my name's Benedict Eke. Simple. Or you can say, I am Benedict Eke. Or I am, not am. If you say am, you are using this. So your pronoun is no longer there. So say, I am Benedict Eke. So any of the 4 templates there is okay. All right. So when you say your name, examiner would want to know what to call you or address you with or by. So the examiner would ask you, so what can I call you? What can I call you? You can call me by my English name, Michael. Or you can call me by my native name, blah, blah, blah. Or you can call me by my nickname, but I like it longer. So I would say, if examiner asks me, what can I call you? Well, I'm popularly called Benedict by my friends and family, as well as my colleagues. But for the purpose of this exam and for ease of pronunciation, you can call me Ben. Just do all the effizy, and drop what you would like to be called. Right? Don't say, what can I call you? Ben. Ben is fine. You didn't make any sentence. So to every question, express yourself. Examiner will like, all right, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification, your international passport. So you bring it out and you hand it in or give it to the examiner. But when you're giving your passport to the examiner, you must make an expression. It's not, you have to say something. So, all right, Ben, may I please take a look at your means of identification? Sure, of course. Here is my means of identification. That is synchronized with the action of giving. Or, of course, you can take a look at my means of identification. Or, sure, here you go. Make an expression. Say something. Okay, so once the examiner retrieves the or collects the passport from you, takes a look at it, look at you, he's trying to confirm that you are the same person there. You people are too wonderful. So examiner will look at you and confirm that you are still the person, and then the examiner looks at the name on the passport and remember what you said earlier, right? In case, So once your identity is confirmed, the examiner will tell you, all right, thank you so much. You can keep that back. Then, so tell me, where are you from, Ben? So examiner would ask you where you are from. So where I come from, I would say, do make reference to the name of right. Now, some areas, some countries do not have local governments. Some countries do not have maybe geographical locations, right? Some countries don't have that. Do you have? So you know the name of your community, right? Your community must have a name. So when you say the name of the community, it has a state too, or a province or a region. Then the name of the country. Don't worry, I'll take you back to the name of your local community. Tribes. In Oromia region, are there little clans or communities, or everybody's from the same environment? You now have a smaller. Perfect. Aha. Now that small colony where you speak You have your village, you have your, is the name of your community. Then that your community is in, the first one you called is what? Aha. Then you talk about it. And Oromia is in which part of Ethiopia? Good. Western part of Ethiopia. Fine. So you build it. Do you understand? Yes, there's small units, then located in a particular local government area of a particular state, which is situated in a particular region of the country. Do you understand this? So now, if an examiner asks me, all right, Ben, could you please tell me where are you from? I can say, well, I hail from a small town or small village or small city or small clan called Ife in Ife East local government area of Oyo State, which is located in the southwestern part of Nigeria. So you're breaking it. You are going into the different, do you understand? Or I can say I am a native of a popular community called Obosi in Obosi East local government area of Anambra State, located at the southeastern part of Nigeria. Or I am a native of a small town called Kanuri in Kanuri East local government area of Borno State, located at the northern part of Nigeria. Do you understand? So you grow from the small to what it is. All right? So I'm going to take this section from here to this part. I'm going to ask you one after another. All right. Good morning. My name is Benedict Ike. What's your name? Please speak to the mic. All right. Good morning. My name is Benedict Ike. What's your name?
My name is Agbola Folake Dorcas.
Okay. My name is Agbola Folake Dorcas. That's a little fast. You need to take it slowly. My name is Agbola Folake Dorcas. Do you understand? It's clear now. All right. Good morning. My name is Benedict Ike. What's your name?
My name is Agbola Folake Dorcas.
All right. What can I call you?
They call me Dorcas.
All right, Dorcas. May I please take a look at your means of identification?
Yes, you have it.
It means Idashi. That's what you just said. In case you don't go back with your passport, you have given it out. So don't tell an examiner you can have it. You can have it means Idashi.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So don't speak English and give your things away that I didn't plan. All right, may I please take a look at your means of identification?
Yes, basically.
Uh-huh. This is better English.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. You can keep that back. Please tell me, Dorcas, where are you from?
And I'm from a small community in Theology, in Okego, local government, in the area of Ondo State, located in the western region of Nigeria.
Do you know the first things you talked about? I didn't hear anyone. You were rushing them. You need to be very odd. Let the examiner hear you. Remember too, your conversations are going to be recorded. So you need to be audible so that in case you feel your score is below your performance, you want a remark, right? For that remark to take place, they will take the recorded version of your speaking test and give to another person. So if that person is listening to that remark, the audio, and is not hearing anything you're saying, there's nothing will happen, right? So you just bear that in mind and be clear whenever you're saying anything. So tell me, Dorcas, where are you from?
I'm from Ilaruji, small community in Ilaruji, Okiko local government in Ondo State, where cocoa is the major business in the area of the western region in Nigeria.
This is better. It's better. Okay, please take your microphone. It is your microphone now. When I have it, it's my microphone. All right. So, good morning. My name is Benedict Ake. What's your name?
And my name is
I didn't hear what you just said.
My name is Kebazuka.
Kebezu Kakle.
My name is Kebazuka.
Miti Kebezu Kakle. Tekle. Aha, now it's coming out. Tekle. For your examiner to hear your name, take it beat, beat, beat. Listen to me. Good morning. My name is Benedict Ake. You can get the different names, right? You should try to do something like that. All right. Good morning. My name is Benedict Ake. What's your name?
My name is Kebazuka.
Thank you. This is clearer now. And what can I call you? All right, Mitik, may I please take a look at your means of identification?
Yes, sure. Here it is.
All right, thank you so much. And Mitik, where are you from?
I'm from a small city called Dembidolo.
What Dembidolo?
Dembidolo.
Dembidolo? Dembidolo?
Dembidolo.
Dembidodo or Dembidolo?
Dembidolo.
Dolo. Dembidolo.
Yeah, I'm from a small city called Dembidolo, which is located in western part of Oromia region. And also it is the capital city of Walega.
In which country? Thank you. So you have to wrap it up.
I'm from Ethiopia, and yes,
Aha, you can say I'm a national of Ethiopia, precisely from a small town called in so and so. You understand what I've done? I'm a national of Ethiopia, precisely in a small or from a small town or city called Demidolo in the western part of Shikena. Is there any other thing you want to say?
whatever the community.
Aha. So first, Demidolo is a small town, right? Is it a small town? Good, nice. So Demidolo is located where? In Cap. Good, Oromia region or in the western part of. Wait, let me help you. Dembi, a small town, a small city, right? In where? Where is this Demidolo located? Oromia. Don't worry about my spelling. Of where?
In the western part of Ethiopia.
Okay,
It's located, the geographical location is located in western part of Ethiopia.
thank you. Now, so Mitik, tell me, where are you from? Well, I'm a native of a small city called Dembi Dono in Oromia region of the western part of Ethiopia. Do you understand this? I am a native of a small city called Dembilodo in Oromia, which is located at the western part of Ethiopia. I can take it that way, right? Dembilodo is a small city in Oromia, located at the western part of Ethiopia. So it's better that way. Yeah? Do you want to add something to it?
Also, the city is like it's the capital city of Walega.
Well, aha. Demilo is a small town in Oromia region, which is the capital city of Good, located at the western part of Ethiopia. Hmm? I'm a native of Dendilolo, a small city in Oromia region of the capital city of located at the western part of. Hmm? So that's better. Is it clear? All right. So after that, examiner would ask you, could you please tell me a little bit about your community? So you now go back to the name of that your village that you talked about. So you begin to talk about your village or about the city, right? So to begin, you simply say, like I said earlier, I am a native of, give the name again. So in my community, we have an estimated population of about 20,000 persons, and this includes both indigents and migrants, right? We are predominantly farmers or predominantly traders or predominantly whatever it is. Generally, we are described or characterized to be industrious, religious, hospitable, accommodating, jovial, whatever you want to describe your people as. Please, do you understand this? Notwithstanding, we have a native delicacy, which is called, you give the name of your native delicacy. And we also have a popular festival that we celebrate annually. It is called, give the name of the festival. It usually attracts people from all around the country and beyond, all over the country and beyond. And of course, we are just about 10 minutes away from the capital city. 10 minutes drive away from the capital city. Am I correct? Kilometers. Whoa! That's almost a whole day. Wow. It's really far, not just, it's really far. Really far. Okay. So that's it if you're trying to make an attempt to talk about your community. Yes, make mhm, the predominant occupation. Yes. The native delicacy. Festival. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then the general attributes of your people. General attributes, whether they are hospitable, jovial, industrious, creole, whatever it is you want to describe your people to be. All right, so I'm going to take you on that right away. You're going to tell me about that. You're going to describe your community. Remember, I said first you are to make reference to the name of your community and establish an estimated population of the people of your community, what they are predominantly known for, then their native meal, their festival, their general attributes, their if you have any neighboring village, and then lastly, the proximity of your community to or from the city center. Are we ready? Can we begin? All right. Please grab your microphone. All right, Dorcas, please tell me, where are you from?
Like I earlier mentioned, that from Kilaruchi is a very small town with the population of
With an estimated, you are not accurate.
estimated population of 10,000 or more, and we are known for being nice, accommodating, and friendly. The community is community based on farming majorly. So they are into other business, but farming, especially planting and harvesting of cocoa, which is used in producing different kind of beverages and some other things. And then also they involve in palm oil, and which is majorly used all over the country. Also, in culture, the community cherish culture so much, sharing the mode of dressing. And then when there's any festival such as Yam Festival, which is observed during between August and September, and it's just like having a Christmas celebration. Everybody from far and near comes down to enjoy and gather at the great square with the king to enjoy the festival. Different kinds of ceremonies are being done, dance, drama, and other cultures. Apart from that, the food, the major food being eaten in my community is pounded yam, and it's being seen as the king of the food. And you can't just prepare it anyhow because it's being done majorly when there are visitors or any ceremonies or festivals being done. And the distance between my community to the main town is just about 10 to 15 minutes drive.
You are even tensed. You are tensed even in this class.
No, you said I should not be fast around because I'm
You are managing. You are fast talker, right?
Yes.
But okay, nice. When you started, you were not lively, but at some point, you started coming out. Hmm? So you need to be free, be open, be free and open. It would even make your speaking session well interactive and engaging to the examiner. So be free. Um, 10,000 and above, right? Estimated population of about 10,000 and above. In IELTS, you are expected to use proper dictions, words at each point in time. The people of my community, always include yourself, always have an estimated population of about 10,000 persons. About covers. Hmm? Um, we base in cocoa production, right? Our predominant occupation is farming, specifically cocoa farming. Predominant occupation, advanced expression. You need all of that. Then, when it comes to culture, no, you don't need to start giving headings. You are gisting. So when you talk about your predominant occupation, we also have a special meal, a native delicacy, of course, which is pounded yam. We didn't talk of any soup, so we just take pounded yam and swallow. It's actually pounded yam, eaten mostly with egusi soup, right? So it's considered to be a highly renowned meal, and it doesn't come casually. It's often served when we have visitors or when there is a special occasion to be celebrated, right? More so, you bring in a linking word. More so, our festival, which happens annually, advanced expression, but usually within August and September. So everyone know that it is something that happens once in a year. It attracts people from far and near, like you said. And then the distance, how did you say that? You said between, no, the distance between my village to the city. No, the distance from my town to. That's the right expression. Do you understand? So please, you need to articulate how you express yourself at each point in time. If you want to talk fast, then no problem. Talk fast, but ensure you are examiner can grab everything you are saying. But the only risk or disadvantage is when you commit grammatical error, you might not know because you are fast. Secondly, you will definitely exhaust your point very early before time. For instance, when you come to this point, when you're supposed to speak for 2 minutes, because you're fast, in less than 40 seconds, you are done. Examiner will not talk to you. They will keep looking at you until 2 minutes elapses. So you need to manage your pace. Hmm? Okay, so Mitty, please tell me a little bit about your community. You can have your microphone.
I don't know. A community called the which is estimated about the population is estimated about
Estimated to.
estimated to 50,000. And the majority of my community people are based on agriculture, more than 85%.
Majority of the people of my community engage in agriculture as their major occupation, right?
Also, my community are well known in production of coffee and butter all over the country. We also have a special name called Anchote, which is a special festival of Mescal, which happens between January to February, between January to February. Mm, and also my community, they are really humble, being humble, and the distance from the capital city to my city is around 635 kilometers. Just little bit far.
It's not a little bit, it's very far.
It's very far.
Okay, all right. So, this is the way to express to talk about your community. Then examiner may ask you, so tell me, Dorcas, what do you do? What do you do is asking to know whether you are gainfully employed, or you are an entrepreneur, or you are a student. One of these three. What do you do? Are you employed either by government or the private sector? Are you an entrepreneur? You are self-employed, you have your own business, or are you a student? Which was it?
Currently, I'm not between
Any of that? You are. What do you do? Well, I just completed an academic program not too long ago. Currently, I'm looking to secure a job. I'm job hunting. So you are not vacant. Yes, 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 yes. So, um, what do you do? Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to establish that I completed my academic program in the University of blah blah blah, where I studied blah blah blah. And after that, since then, I've been job hunting. I'm currently looking to secure a job for myself. Although I've also had a couple of job experiences. My previous job was we begin to talk about it. So the major thing is they want to hear you speak. They want to hear you speak. Do you understand? All right. So please tell me, what do you do?
I employed a private organization presently. It teaches the profession, impacting learners. Waiting silence.
Gina, Gina. All right. So tell me, what do you do, doctors? Oh, well, thank you for this opportunity. I would like to say that having studied XYZ in the university and came out with a good grade, I've actually worked with a couple of organizations, but at the moment, I'm gainfully employed by a private academic institution where I function as a class teacher, you know, teaching pupils within the ages of this to that. That's all. Is it not simple? So tell me, what do you do?
Currently,
Okay, let me help you. So tell me, Mythic, what do you do? Well, this is actually hard not to crack, but I'll give you my best shot. Not too long ago, I completed my academic program, and of course, where I studied XYZ for 4 years or 5 years, and I've also had to work with for some organizations. But at the moment, currently, I'm seeking to secure another job. But notwithstanding, my previous job was basically about. Do you understand what I've done? Can you try it? So tell me, Mythic, what do you do?
currently, I'm trying to secure a social officer. And before I relocate to Nigeria,
Relocated,
I was a farmer. I used to do a poultry farming for the past 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
and it's something I enjoy doing,
It's a
right?
great and it's a really good income for me.
Good, good,
I really enjoy doing it.
good. So that's okay. That's okay, right? So examiner might ask you, so what job do you do? What job do you do? Well, like I said not too long ago, um, as a poultry farmer, I I trained or I I don't know your terminologies. Getting the nursery,
I raised my first two. They
good,
started name is for me.
good.
Then after that,
Uh,
I
no. There's something you're missing. As a poultry farmer, I ensure that I buy the particular species of the poultry I need, right?
the
I,
breeding product,
good.
the raw materials,
Exactly,
all the vitamins they need.
exactly,
And I make sure that my employee are attentive to my chicks.
exactly.
And also, I send my eggs in address. So
And I also sell when they are matured. I sell to my clients, my customers, right?
I used to distribute the eggs to address.
Right. So I also distribute the eggs to my teaming customers or clients at different locations in my city. Do you understand? So that's the way to go. So tell me, what job do you do as a professional teacher? You must be professional, abi?
Yes, as a personal teacher, I welcome my learners. I'm also be accommodating those learners and also to impact knowledge for them. Apart from that, I will have to understand the level of understanding of my learners.
You also communicate with their parents on their learning improvements or challenges. And you also take records of each child's performance. You also relate to the management of the school. You conduct tests, you mark assignments, you give them moral encouragement. What job do you do is asking about your roles, the activities you carry out in your job, right? Now, the next question is, so tell me, Mitik, why did you go? What's your drive? Why did you go into such area of specialism? Motivation now. Why you went into poultry?
In my country, poultry is a really profitable business. And also, it's something I can do in the input resource areas. So that's why I
It gives you satisfaction. You have passion for it. The monetary benefit is quite encouraging, and you have in-depth knowledge of managing that business. You have good knowledge, experience of managing that, right? And it gives you time for yourself as well. So you want to talk about all of this when you're talking, right? So tell me, why did you go into the teaching profession? Remember, our teacher's reward is in heaven, sha. So, but why did you go into? That's what they told me.
my profession was actually funny. Initially, I wanted to study law, and which I was working towards. So when I start for exam, my score was not up to the minimum I
Cut off.
cut off for law. So my mother encouraged me to just put in for further education, rather not to waste a whole year sitting at home. When I gained the admission and I continued the lecture, within that 1 year, I was able to know that this is my calling. Even when I was called back to the seat for the jam, I told my mom I wasn't because I really enjoyed it. And when I graduated from university, I started teaching. I loved it because it made me to have this accommodating behavior towards my learner, and it motivates me to impart knowledge. And though it is not monetizing, but nevertheless, seeing your learners achieving ahead is a great achievement to me.
Thank you. No, it's cool. It's nice. This is okay, right? So, basically, what you have just said, or what you have said, boils down to I found passion in it. That's what it means. In fact, you even said is your calling, right? But you also said the financial, the remuneration is not quite encouraging, but that's not what you're after, right? In this country, you're not after the money. Some other people, the reason they went into the profession they are in is because the financial benefits, right? They went for it. Some other persons, the reason they went in for such profession is because they have a role model. They've already seen this person, he's a big boy, he owns the car, and they want to be like that person. They'll go for it, right? So it all depends. You would choose why you went in for a particular profession. Then examiner might ask you questions on societal issues, different questions on societal issues. For instance, please tell me, Mitik, what kind of families exist in your community? What kind of families exist in your community? Now, the response. Well, in my community, we have two major types of families, the nuclear families and the extended families. By nuclear family, I actually mean families that comprise mother, father, and their children. Whereas the extended family comprises the nuclear and the extended relatives. Do you understand the difference? So, which do you prefer, the small or the large family? Examiner has paraphrased. Examiner has paraphrased what? Nuclear and extended. The nuclear is paraphrased to small, extended is paraphrased to large. When you want to respond to it, don't mention small and large. Go back to nuclear and extended. So if it says, which do you prefer, the small or the large family? You say what you prefer or which you prefer, right? But you must give your reasons for going for any of that. Please, do you understand? When you say, well, I cherish the small sized family, of course, you're referring to nuclear, right? And my reasons are economically, it's easy to manage. I can take care of their needs. It gives me more privacy, right? So you are giving reasons. If you prefer the large family, you're talking about, you give your reasons why you prefer it. Do you understand? How do people in your community spend time with their families? How do people in your community spend time with their families? Well, different people spend time with their families in different ways. First, by having dinners together. After the day's work, everyone comes home and you eat together. So during the meal, you discuss about the day's activities. People also, in the past, people spent time. I'm taking you back now, using past tenses. In the past, families or people spent time with their families by having what we call tales by moonlight. All right? Sharing old time stories to the children. Some other persons spent time with their families on the farmland when everyone have to be taken to the farm. And while you're farming, you are sharing stories, you are weighing each person's strength and all that. But currently, because of modernization and development, people now spend time in various ways. For instance, some persons spend time on calls, maybe having video conference calls because of the difference in their locations. Some other persons spend time by having little picnic, going to parks or gardens. Some spend time by going to church. Some spend time by going to concerts, seeing movies in cinemas. The affluent homes, people from rich homes, spend time by organizing vacations, traveling to certain locations to have some private and quiet time for themselves and to themselves. Please, do you understand this? Now, examiner might also ask you, please tell me about a book you read recently. Can you tell me about the book you read recently? Now, IELTS is not concerned about how true what you're saying is. They're not concerned about that. So you should build a book in your mind. It might be the movie you saw last night. Convert it to book. Please, do you understand this? So give it a title. The examiner does not know the book, so it's only you that know. So give it a title. Give it a number of pages, right? Give moral lesson to the book, right? Then give author, name of the writer. Give yourself. You can give any name. Do you understand? You may also be asked if you prefer the current development or the old way of living. Do you understand this question? Do you prefer the old lifestyle or the current way of living? So whichever you prefer, give your reasons. Right? Examiner might also ask you if you enjoyed eating chocolate while growing up as a child. Did you enjoy eating chocolate while growing up as a child? If it's a yes, give more detail. If it's a no, give details. But don't just say no outrightly. Find a way of expressing your no. Do you understand? For instance, if I'm asked, all right, Ben, please tell me, did you enjoy eating chocolate while growing up as a child? And I'll be like, well, this is taking me back to memory lane. Growing up as a child, I'm not actually from an affluent home. I actually was born into a humble home. So we didn't have so much money to afford lots of chocolate and junks. We prioritized our monies on foods that would sustain us a lot more. So that's where the funds were channeled. Secondly, my parents were also told by some medical practitioners then that taking a lot of chocolate can affect the teeth and the gum. So to prevent decay of any of the tooth or any of the teeth rather, my parents rather would want us to go for fruits and foods. So I didn't eat much of chocolate. You see, it's actually no for me, right? But I didn't say no. I just found a way of expressing myself. So that's what you should do. Okay. Um, please tell me, how do you spend your weekends? How do you spend your weekends? So you need to establish when weekends take place in your country. Weekends take place in different countries. Weekends begin on different days in different countries, right? Nigeria, weekend begins on Friday and ends when? Hmm? It's not Sunday, it's Saturday. Sunday is the first day of a fresh week. Hmm? People extend things a lot. Oh, I'm everywhere. Weekend begins on Fridays and ends on Saturdays in Nigeria. In Rwanda, weekend begins on Thursdays and ends on Saturdays. Right? So different countries have their own weekends, right? So how do you then spend your weekends? That's what examiners want to hear. So establish when weekends begins and ends in your country, then talk about your activities on those days. Please, do you understand this? Then you may also be asked, please tell me about your daily routine. Daily routine has to do with your activity from Monday to Friday. Daily routine. So you want to talk about waking up, the activities you carry out from when you wake up, and how you proceed with activities, and how you end it at night. If you usually go out every day, ensure that you establish that you return home. It's not like you go and you don't come back. So if you say you go to work, talk about you coming back home, talk about you having your meal and retiring to bed, right? So you end by saying this is how it runs for me from Monday to Friday. Please, do you understand this? You may also be asked to talk about maybe a movie you watched recently. You may be asked to talk about your recent trip where you traveled to not too long ago. You may be asked any question, a couple of questions. How do people carry out shopping in your country? What are the roles of wristwatch to humans? So you want to talk about roles. And when you ask questions in IELTS, don't just look at that question as a mere question. It's deep. For instance, if I ask you what are the roles of the wristwatch, especially, or what roles can wristwatch play to humans, what would you say? Let me hear from you. What roles? What roles can wristwatch play to humans?
The roles of this word,
Okay,
this word plays
okay, just a moment.
a lot of roles. It helps, it helps manage time. When you want to involve yourself in a certain way, and okay, you want to spend at least 1 hour, okay, this watch will you help to know how to manage the time, once to begin and when to end it, even if you are not done with the work, it will help you. And it will also give you a reminder if peradventure you want to do something in the future. So by on the wristwatch you have an alarm and set an alarm on the wristwatch. So with that, in case you've forgotten of what to do, the alarm on the wristwatch will remind you of what to do and when to do
2 points. Thank you. Thank you. 2 points. Yes, Mitty. What are the roles of wristwatch to humans?
it. Wristwatch can help to plan a day and also this plan a day to you know,
Okay, let's understand something. Primarily, it's it helps us to know time of the day at each point, right? Then secondarily, it can serve as a complement to your fashion. Is that correct? It's an accessory. Then also, wristwatches can help to remind you of certain activities or events when you set reminder. Wristwatches can also help you to keep to appointments, right? Wristwatches can be used to capture memories by taking photos with them, especially the advanced technological watches, right? Wristwatches can also be used to take calls, especially when your phones are not close by. Is that correct? You can take calls with your wristwatch. It can also be used to read text messages and send messages as well, right? So you want to think broad. Think out. All right. Now tell me, why do people travel abroad? To respond, it's better to begin by saying different people travel abroad for different reasons. Some of which would include, then you begin to mention. So tell me, what are some of those reasons people travel abroad for?
travel outside of the country to
For what?
for different reasons.
Sure.
One of the main reasons is for study,
Mm-hmm.
for study. The second one is to secure a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, people travel outside the country to visit tourists.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, different people travel abroad for different reasons. Some go there for the study, for higher education, the MBA, or also some other people travel for visits. If they are very sure they have one family or friend, this for a few months or weeks before it return. Some go there for vacation. And after the whole year of busy life, travel abroad for vacation to enjoy themselves. And some go there for working and believe that foreign abroad get a better job, better pay, and send money home better.
For people at home to have better life. You abroad, you have. All right, so let's understand. All correct. People travel abroad for various reasons, which would include for education, for religious reasons, those that go to Mecca, those that go to Jerusalem, for medical reasons, health checkup, right? For insecurity in their home country, because of insecurity in their home country. So people sign asylum. People also travel abroad for dual citizenship. right? People travel abroad for cross-cultural awareness, to learn about other people's culture. People travel abroad for marriage, right? People travel abroad for business purposes, right? People travel abroad for entertainment, sporting events, mega concerts, right? So you really want to itemize them, else you'll be repeating same topic, same idea. So you need to break them into different sections like this: health, education, religion, um, business, dual citizenship, better job, marriage, um, entertainment, insecurity. So break them into different sections, right? Now, another direct question would be, why do people prefer to study abroad? I'm not very direct. Why do people prefer to study abroad? People prefer to study abroad for various reasons. One, because of free education, scholarship, right? People also study abroad because of affordability of the course or program. There are some courses you want to take in Nigeria and private university, they are quite on the high side. But when you go to Ghana, you see that they are cheap, right? I hope Ghana is abroad too, right? But is it not abroad? But it's abroad. I don't understand. From Nigeria to Ghana, you are traveling abroad. Yes, it works. Abroad is not until you go to Europe. No, overseas. From Lagos to Benin Republic is abroad. Yes. Yeah. No, 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 no. No, no, you guys are abusing Africa. You guys are abusing Africa. I don't like that. What's that? I don't like that.
Yes, I can fly from, but I can still say China. You said abroad, overseas. Sometimes I have to fly,
Overseas.
but there's no sea there, sorry.
There are.
No, I can still go by road.
You can
If I have
see.
to go overseas, there is a limit because of the water.
No.
So
You
I will have
can.
to, if I did not fly by airplane, I have to take ship. It will take me months before getting abroad.
No. No, I don't believe that.
The way everybody believes is
Yes,
Africa.
we still have the same.
My parents now they don't refer to me. I am living abroad.
Bro.
They will say, she's in my.
Really? No. Let me explain something. Are you aware you can travel to the UK on a bike? Are you aware?
From here?
Yes. Yes, on a bike. You can travel by road to UK from here. Everything is not about the flight.
Nothing about flight.
It's not.
The way they
Yes, the mindset. The mindset is from Nigeria to Cotonou is abroad.
Okay, once you leave your country, it's another
Once you have crossed your border, you are going to a foreign land. You are not a national of Benin Republic, are you? So you are going there showing an identity of your nationality. So you are traveling abroad. It's a foreign land. Look at the two of them.
But Europeans don't see it that way. See the report as black. General.
No. That's okay. Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Let's not talk about that because I'm recording. All right. So, examiner would ask you a couple of questions. So, why do people study abroad? For affordability of the program, for scholarships. People study abroad because of unavailability of their preferred course, right? Of unavailable is not in their own country, so they have to come here to study it. Do you understand? Now, people also study abroad because of possibility of employment, right? Employability. People study abroad because of cross-cultural awareness. Being an international student, you meet other international students from other countries. You begin to exchange your beliefs. You learn about theirs, they also learn about yours. People also study abroad because of state-of-the-art learning equipment and environment. Do you understand? So different reasons, different reasons, different reasons. You need to be able to itemize all of these things. Now, examiner might ask you to talk about your preferred, your favorite color. What's your favorite color? So in IELTS, do not choose or talk about a color that does not allow you to say much. A lot of females will say pink. What does pink do for you? It makes you a female, right? And after that, nothing more. So you are to go for a color that will allow you to have more talking time. So you can choose red, blue, black, white, so that you have things to talk about, right? You may also be asked to talk about your dream car preference. Your dream car. Tell me about your dream car. Your dream car. You have dream car, right? You don't have a dream car? Correct. Share with us. The name. Let me hear from you. What's it like? Is what? BMW. Yeah. German cars. German car. BMW. Nice. Yeah. 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 They are very strong, right? Nice speed, nice balance on the roads, very sneaky. Don't worry, get one. All right, tell me, what's your dream car?
I don't even know much about cars.
Hmm.
But basically, I was before it.
Hmm.
It's big.
Jeep is just a fashion of car.
I have
So is it Jeep made from Benz or Toyota or Hyundai or Peugeot or Toyota? Mhm. So Highlander Jeep or hmm? Ah, okay. So when you're talking about your dream car, for instance, talk about the name of the product. For instance, BMW. What model of BMW? There are different models. No, you have to give the model. So you can talk about i50 or X50 model, anyone, right? Then talk about the color. Your dream car, you know the color you want it to come, right? Good. Talk about the red, the color. Now talk about the shape. Why it is a dream car to you? What shape does it have? Beast shape, slicky shape. You just build it, right? Now, why is it your dream car? Maybe the interior is so nice, so classy, leather chairs, the AC is so strong, and when it's moving on the way, it's so balanced, you won't even know that the car is in motion, right? It's quite spacious too. You are comfortable when you sit. Do you understand? So you want to talk about all of that. That makes it your dream car. So do you understand?
yeah.
Describe your dream car, how you want it to be. All right? So examiner might also ask you to talk about the favorite part of your house. The favorite part of your house. Yes, what is the favorite part of your house? Is it the bedroom, the sitting room, the balcony? Is it the kitchen? Is it the toilet? Is it the bathroom? Is it a study? Yeah. So you need to talk about it. So when you mention the favorite part of your house to you, talk about why it is the favorite part. What is it? What is special about it? What activities do you carry out there that made it the favorite part to you? So you need to, maybe the painting on the wall, maybe the privacy, maybe it allows you to express yourself, just talk about it. Please, do you understand this? So that's it. So these are different questions and more that examiner may ask you when you are going through the part 1. Please note, all these questions may not be asked. These questions, all of them may never be asked. But what we are doing right now is to show you or train you on how questions are asked and how to respond to them. So you should be prepared for any type of question, okay? Now, let's go to part 2. Part 2 is called the cue card. Here you go. So, for those viewing from the YouTube channel, here is the cue card. Here you go. So, the cue card is a paper. Please focus on this. Focus on this part. The box. Please ignore other parts. So the cue card will be given to you by the examiner, and of course on your desk or on the table where you are seated, you would also see a piece of paper. Then remember I said you should go with a pen or a pencil, right? Now when this cue card is given to you, examiner will tell you that you have about 40 seconds or 60 seconds to make notes. So what note are you making? The cue card says describe an occasion when you had to wait a long time for someone or something to arrive. Is that what you have? Right? So you will now think whether, if you have not experienced this personally, build it in your mind. Okay, let me create a story where I went to wait for somebody or for something for a long time and the person did not come. Build a story. Right? So here says you should say who or what you are waiting for. On the piece of paper, write the name of the person or the name of the thing you are waiting for. Only. Don't write any big story. Then, how long you had to wait? Write. Maybe 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 day, 2 days. Do you understand? You write it there. Why you had to wait a long time? Express why you had to wait. Maybe the person will not be able to reach you. Maybe your phone has gone off. Or maybe the person does not have the address. Or maybe it's something that's so precious to you, you wouldn't want to miss it. You wouldn't want people to take it. So you have to just write very briefly why you had to wait for so long, right? Then lastly, and explain how you felt about waiting a long time. How did you feel? Were you so furious? You were upset? Or was it something you actually had planned for? You expected that it would take you so long, So you write it very quickly. Now, at this point, once the 60 seconds or 40 seconds elapses, examiner will tell you you may now begin. Now, you may now begin. You are free to pick that piece of paper, the small paper you jotted on. You're free to hold it and be looking while you're speaking. Right? Examiner may retrieve this from you, or it may still be left with you while you're speaking. But the major thing is this header, this thing you actually describe, don't forget it. All right? So you are to create a storyline. That storyline would help you to speak for 2 minutes. And don't be too fast. So you have to create a storyline. So when you are telling the story, make sure the story is interesting and engaging to the examiner. And please keep eye contact. Be looking at the examiner when you are speaking. right? So as you're giving the story, you're dropping the answers that you jotted down on that piece of paper. Drop, you continue the story, keep gisting, drop the second answer, keep gisting again in line with the same story, drop the next answer, keep gisting, and I felt quite although I was upset initially, but when the person I was waiting for arrived, all the anger, disappointment disappeared. I was very comfortable. I was so amazed and overwhelmed. It was a moment I actually waited for. So you are rounding up now, because the last question says, and how explain how you felt, right? So you are now explaining, you're rounding up, you're closing the story, and it will help you to end in 2 minutes. Please, do you understand this? Please do not fail to make story. You don't make stories, I tell you, in 40 seconds you are done. An examiner will not talk until your 40 minutes is, your 2 minutes elapses. They won't talk, they just keep looking at you. So you need to make or create a story that will allow you to talk for 2 minutes, right? You might see it as a very short time. 2 minutes, it's a short time. When you start talking, you know that 2 minutes is like 2 years. It's very long, right? So that's the way to go when you're treating your part 2. Please, is it clear to us? All right, let's go to the last part. This is called the supporting or follow-up question session. Now, right here, the examiner will also engage you with some questions for you to respond to. So examiner would ask you a few questions, just the way you were asked questions in part 1, right? Now, those few questions may come from the occupation you filled at the point of registering the exam. You may be asked questions buzzing around your occupation, right? You may also be asked questions that relate to the cue card. This one is talking about where you had to wait. A question may also come in line with waiting. Maybe if you go to where else do people maybe wait for their turn before they receive a particular thing they are waiting for? Where else do people, what other scenarios do you think people are supposed to wait for their turn before they get to receive what they want? May I talk about filling station, right? You have to queue up, you are waiting for your turn to come for the fill to be given, right? Maybe you go to the bank, you have to be in queue for your turn to come. So they will just ask you where people wait. So you need to think outside that story I've told. Do you understand? The last part might be weird question. Weird questions. So please, it doesn't usually take long. The part 3 does not take long. In 2-3 minutes, that's all, and you're done, right? So whatever questions you are asked, the same confidence you applied during your part 1, use it to respond to the questions too, right? If you are asked a weird question, for instance, and the question got at you so hard, don't let it show your face. Don't let it show. Just smile and say, thank you very much for this wonderful question. Of course, it's not wonderful. Right? So tell the person, thank you so much for this wonderful question. Well, I know this is quite a hard nut to crack, but I'm sure going to give it my best shot. But first, do you mind giving me a few seconds to think about it? You want to buy time, right? Because it's a difficult question. Do you mind giving me a few seconds to think about this? Examiner saying, sure, go ahead. You're like, you're not thinking of nothing. Nothing will come. Don't worry yourself. So after a few seconds, you are back and you're like, well, I would like to start by saying, now at this point, what I tell people is speak nonsense in good English. Speak nonsense in good English. Weird questions. You may never have the correct answer. So for you to say no idea, that would be a very wrong decision to take. All right. So what you do is begin to gist around that situation. Gist, play around it. Begin to talk about it, but you don't know the answer, so you cannot hit the answer. That's what I say. That's what I call nonsense, but in good English. So talking about it, for instance, if I create a weird question, I might ask you, could you please tell me how do babies in the womb grow hairs on their head while in the womb?